So, this video is going to be me talking about the one of the two Marvel movies that we've been asking for. Well, rather now it's just one because now we have Doctor Strange coming out. This is stuff I want to talk about of what I want to see in a Black Panther movie. Now, Black Panther is one of the Marvel characters they haven't done yet, but we know one day they're going to get to Black Panther. I'm convinced we're probably going to see that in Marvel somewhere in Phase 3 or 4. That's my bet, is that we're going to see it somewhere during Phase 3 or 4. Maybe even the start of Phase 4. But anyway, let's talk about Black Panther. What I'd like to see in a Black Panther movie. Now, the reason why I'm kind of talking about this now is because there's been a lot of talk of what we want to see for Black Panther. And, you know, we've been getting a lot of back and forth about it. And I think that, also another thing that kind of gives leeway of what we're probably getting closer to a Black Panther movie is because, well, there's been a lot of Age of Ultron is filming in Africa. They're doing some filming in Africa, and and maybe there's a part of my brain that's like, oh my god, maybe they won't have Black Panther part of the Avengers, but maybe he'll show up at like maybe an end credit scene. That's my bet, is that maybe we'll have like Coulson or someone like Coulson or Tony like talking to someone in the shadows, and they're like, hey, look, we're very sorry. Ultron and the other robots were very close to your kingdom. You know, we want to apologize on behalf of S.H.I.E.L.D. and everyone else. I want to apologize. Then you just hear, enough! You brought your war machines close to my kingdom. Now it's just my turn. And then you just see T'Challa stand up, and he's standing there in the Black Panther costume without the mask on. And then end credit scene, something like that. That's what I think might happen, because as most of you guys know, Ultron is built out of adamantium and vibranium, and well, since they can't use adamantium, I'm betting that, you know, maybe Ultron goes to... This is just a plot theory that I have, is that maybe Ultron goes to Africa to mine vibranium. Again, I have not seen I know there's a plot synopsis for Age of Ultron out there, but I haven't read it because I don't want to spoil myself on it. I really do not want to spoil myself on the experience of Age of Ultron. So maybe what happens is that in there we have Ultron leading his army to vibranium to give them upgrades. I mean, to Wakanda to get them the vibranium upgrades. And this is where the Avengers stop them, just short of Wakanda, and then we get to see Black Panther in an end credit scene. Now, what I'd like to see from the first Black Panther movie is the first movie is like Black Panther, T'Challa finally taking the throne. Maybe in the opening scene you could have T'Chaka being killed at the hands of Claw. That's who I think would be the best villain choice for the first movie. You get to see, I would say, have T'Chaka as the Black Panther, and then T'Challa becoming king. That's what I kind of want to see, is that, you know, Claw invades with a team of mercenaries, they kill T'Chaka, and T'Challa takes over the mantle of the Black Panther. And it's all about him deciding, going after Claw, while at the same time deciding whether or not the whole isolation tone of Wakanda has either helped it or hurt it. And also going with the, seeing what the tribe wants, and, he's trying to decide, whether it's better to be at one's culture or, time to branch out. That's what I want the underlying thing to be. And also not letting his anger get the best of him. So with Claw being the first villain, because obviously that's Black Panther's... I guess you could say what Black Panther's archenemy is, or one of his greatest enemies are. I would say that with Claw would make a very good... I pretty much think that Claw is the ideal villain to use, because, again, he's the mercenary / evil scientist who wanted to exploit vibranium and use it for his own weapons. So have that in there. So it makes sense that, an outside force would be the opening drive point for, T'Challa deciding whether or not should Wakanda, is it whether helping or hurting Wakanda in, being an isolation state. And really, I'd like to see it like how maybe kind of drawing the line, because in Africa there's a lot of bad things going on in Africa right now. So I'd like to see it that maybe Wakanda, like some people are arguing in Wakanda, like, hey, we haven't had the Ebola outbreak, we haven't had the, we've kept ourselves locked down from the Ebola outbreak, we've kept ourselves away from militia, we've kept ourselves away from, pirates, we've kept ourselves away from a lot of things. So why should we go out into the outside world now? We're just going to open up more problems than we did before. While at the same time, T'Challa's like, well, there are so many problems we could fix in the world. Maybe it's better that we give out help out the rest of the world. At the same time, you could also say that, well, if we do that, how many, the worlds are just going to be like demanding, all of our technological advances, and the world outside is kind of a shitty place. Maybe we're better off on our own. And again, I don't know if you could do this with Namor. Maybe if they do a Namor movie somewhere down the road, you could do the same thing but with Atlantis. But anyway, I think the other thing with Black Panther is that you have a lot of opportunities to kind of play with that. Now, in a sequel, definitely play up the whole thing of T'Challa, of some people now, have at the end of the first movie that, Wakanda is now open to the people, it's become part of the United Nations, and T'Challa is trying to lead them in a new direction, away from a lot of the traditions. And in the second movie, really deal with the fallout of that, like the outside world trying to get a hold on the vibranium mines, trying to get all their technological advances and use them for weapons, and T'Challa also trying to balance that with also his his own people. Some people in his country aren't too keen on the idea of becoming Wakanda being very open to the world. They're very not very open to the idea, and this is where you could play with using another villain. You can use Eric Killmonger. I guess you could say he's T'Challa's real archenemy. Use Eric Killmonger as the guy who's pretty much what his whole deal with Eric Killmonger is that he's trying to lead the people, saying, hey, look, T'Challa just kind of fucked us all over. And in here you could have a sub-villain of Man-Ape, kind of like how in Winter Soldier you had all these little villains here and there, and you could have like Man-Ape as a side villain, also trying to gain power, but at the same time being manipulated by Eric Killmonger. You could even have another major villain, White Wolf, which is Black Panther's older adopted brother. And you could either use White Wolf or Eric Killmonger for the whole traditionalism versus new ideals kind of thing. That would be kind of really hitting home in the third movie. I mean, the second movie, excuse me. So there are so many ways you could take this Black Panther movie and use it in so many ways, and I just want to see T'Challa on the big screen. That's my whole thing, is that I just really want to see T'Challa finally on the big screen. But what do you guys think? What do you guys want from a Black Panther movie, and who do you want as the villains, and what kind of story do you think they should tell with Black Panther? Also, another thing for going back to the first movie, I really want an opening credit scene, like of Captain America in Africa in Wakanda during the Second World. Why did I forget to say World War II? I'm sorry, my brain just went blank on that. But yeah, during World War II, and running into T'Chaka and having a fight with T'Chaka, like in the Black Panther comics. But however, as it was previously written before, the Who is Black Panther story, it was written that T'Chaka and Cap had a draw. It wasn't that Steve lost in his fight to T'Chaka. It was in the original before it was rewritten. It was Steve and T'Chaka fought to a draw. But in the other version, it was rewritten that, it was still Captain America when he was young and inexperienced. So that's why T'Chaka lost. But anyway, that's just a few things right there. But I would love to see Captain America make a cameo somehow in Black Panther. But anyway, once again, you guys tell me, what do you guys want from a Black Panther movie? Comment below, let me know, and yeah, I will see you guys later.